From what I have gathered, it looks like they, kind of wait until everything has been signed, sealed, and delivered before they kind of talk about just different rankings and things of that nature. But one of the players, and actually Michigan man Jason put it on right before we hopped on, was four-star corner Jair Hill, commits to Michigan. From everything I've seen, he's a really talented player. But the reason I bring it up is just obviously there's a lot going on with National Signing Day and guys sending in their letters of intent, all that good stuff. And for Michigan, I'm I'm wondering and I'm curious on where they will land when essentially it's all said and done. I think they've done a good job actually in the transfer portal of getting a couple guys, committed to Michigan, which we didn't see a lot of that last year. Obviously you had the center, grad transfer came Olu. He's done a terrific job. Um, so Michigan, I think, has been more active in the transfer portal this year, and more so than I even thought they would be. I mean, I thought there would be a couple guys that they would, go in the portal to get, and they've done a terrific job. And this was something before we got rolling in the season that I think there was a decent amount of concern with because that just didn't seem to be Jim Harbaugh's his strategy when it comes to getting guys. And I think he's done a really good job in these last 2 years of being flexible and adapting to the environment and the climate of college football that we're in. I think he's done a terrific job, and I can't commend him enough because I was someone that, before that, 2021 season started, I was very critical of him. So, in the same token and same breath that I was critical, I think he's done a terrific job these last couple years in just being fluid, being flexible, and just adapting to the times.
Yeah, he comes across as a guy, and just knowing his background and what he's accomplished. And I think for some people, not everyone, but for some people, the more accomplished you are, the more success you have, it's understandable that the less you would be open to changing or having someone tell you what to do or listening to advice or looking at the landscape of whatever you're dealing with, whatever industry, and determining, okay, I got to change, I got to be flexible. It's understandable. Well, maybe it was a good thing he was kind of hit in the mouth with that 2020 season and other things that were going on, and Ohio State beating him like a drum every year and all that. That caused him to make some changes. Still do what he does best and still maintain his same values, if that's what you want to call it, in regards to football approach. But just to look at this transfer portal, I don't know how much of this was that they assessed their roster and what they need based on what they're anticipating losing, and how much of it was just that they liked these players. I got to think that just like an NFL draft, it's a pretty similar process to equating our needs versus, hey, we're stacked at this position, but hey, if we can go get this guy, let's go get him because he makes us so much better. But it has a lot to do with need. And man, I looked a little bit into some of these players along the offensive and defensive front, and posted a couple videos. And I think they really helped themselves out with some pretty strong players through the transfer portal. So yeah, I didn't see that being a major component of Jim Harbaugh's strategy, but yeah, you got to credit them for going after that. When it comes to traditional recruiting, you know, I can't exactly answer my own question, but I don't know when Michigan will ever catch Ohio State in recruiting. I don't.
It, yeah, I mean it's interesting when you see because we even talked about it after last season how historic of a season that Michigan had, and they had a good recruiting a good recruiting class. It wasn't top three or top four or anything like that. I think they might have been in either the teens if I'm not mistaken. Um, so nothing to sneeze at, but I wondered last year if part of that was, Jim kind of entertaining the Minnesota Vikings job, and if that was something that kind of turned some players off, so to speak. I'm still not quite sure of that. I don't know. But yeah, kind of same thing. I just wonder if it's just that you get into a certain groove, or almost like the machine is just rolling when it comes to Ohio State. Because you look at Alabama, the same way. I mean, as for a team that lost 2 games this season, not going to the playoff, still with the number one class, or seeming, I think all signs pointed to that. But I really don't know. I think it's difficult to make that jump. And Ohio State's doing a terrific job of recruiting. I mean, I know some of the Ohio State fans are critical of Ryan Day with the 2 Michigan losses the last 2 years, but when it comes to the recruiting and keeping that standard that Urban Meyer did a terrific job of getting to, he's done a terrific job there. So I'm with you. I'm not quite sure, and maybe it's just a different strategy. I mean, I'm not saying Jim Harbaugh doesn't want all of the 5 stars, because every coach does, but they just seem to make it work.
Yeah, I'll have to go through year to year and see, because it went through my head. Okay, I'm going to go through year to year and see when was the last time Michigan had a higher ranked class than Ohio State. I just arbitrarily picked a year. I went just 10 years back, and I went to 2013, and Michigan was at number 4, and I went, oh, okay, maybe this is the year, but Ohio State was number 2. So I don't know what year that was, but it's been a long time since they had a higher ranked class.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that continues to go, and especially if the rivalry continues with Michigan having as much success as they had these past two seasons. So that'll be. Yeah, I'm not sure, and I don't know if anyone has the has the answer to that question.